Alright, welcome back to the shop. Tonight I've got a set of West German, it appears to be West German made offset shears. I haven't done a set of scissors before ever, so this will be sort of interesting for me. Typically in the shop I've got some other scissors that I've picked up. These are sort of interesting because you don't necessarily, they're very easy to pick up and operate. You don't have to worry about fitting your thumb through the hole. These aren't very sturdy though for cutting in, I mean beyond cutting paper they're not very good. These are the as seen on TV style shears. They're just stamped, but they're very durable. You see them cutting pennies in half and stuff like that, and they're you know, super cheap, and they're a disposable tool, but they're handy. So I like using those. These I don't remember the Kloss titanium. I don't remember too much about that. I hate the handles on this. The handles on this are deteriorating. They're just falling apart. It looks like hell, and there was some sort of locking mechanism that was deployed in the back of this thing. Anyway, I like the way these cut. These do a great job. I use them for pruning plants and things like that, but they'll cut just about anything you put in front of them. They're just well made from here over. The handle part, you know, no bueno. But anyway, I've got these and I've been looking at them for a while. I think it's time to clean them up. They've got a nut that's been sort of pounded down. I think I'm just going to try to back it off and hopefully it doesn't ruin it. Alright, now that was really stuck in there. So I've got these apart. I'm going to bring them over to the media blaster, clean them up, and then carry them over to the fiber wheel and clean them up a little bit more, and then we'll bring you back over here to the bench. As I understand it, the key to good functioning scissors is having a crisp edge between the interface between the two blades. It's not the knife edge like you would in a conventional sense where you're slicing through things, but you want the two edges to mate up as nice as possible. And with these edges you can see, this is when you need active atoms microscope to get in there and see these little perturbations there, these dents and these dings and whatnot. I don't want those, but I don't necessarily have the ability or the skill to come in and reprofile that to any great extent. But what I think I can do is come through and just indicate this edge and clean it up ever so slightly. And the best way that I think I know how to do that, and because it's such a fine surface it doesn't lend itself to being easily seen, and hopefully this comes out on video because I'm really zoomed in here now, is what I want to do is I know that this is the torn up edge, that this interface here, and I wish you could hear that, but it's very rough and needs to be smoothed out. And I think if I can follow that profile, which this magic marker has profiled or has indicated, I think I should be able to emulate that edge to some degree. And this is a very fine file, an old but functional file. And then I'll zoom out later on. But then I have this Smith Industries diamond file, which is just a little pocket file. And I'll come over and finish that up. So I'm going to clean this up and hopefully the video captures what I'm doing. Now you can see that took off all the red. So that sort of indicator was able to, I wouldn't have been able to feel, I can't feel it, I could hear it, but by having that indicator on there, this magic marker, I could sort of have some sort of sense of what was going on. So I'm pretty confident that did a good job, and then I'm just going to run this over the back just to break off any chip that's on there. So I'm just going to do that again on the other end, but I'll do it a little faster this time. Alright, so at my trip to Michael's the other day, I picked up some of this enamel paint. I've never tried it before. We're going to give it a shot here. Alright, so this paint felt like I was spreading mustard. It didn't feel really good, so I tried the tester's paint to see if it made a difference, and the tester's paint is so much nicer. Alright, the worst thing about tool restorations is waiting for paint to dry. It's killing me. Anyway, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to work on this little Bernard set of parallel jaw pliers. We've seen a lot of these lately on the other channels, Scoutcrafters in particular. But anyway, nothing new here, but this is a little bonus content, so I'm just going to clean these up, and we'll see what they look like while I wait on this paint to dry. Alright, so these Bernard pliers were just horrible looking. Just so pitted, and you can still see a little bit of the knurling on the handle and stuff, and I didn't want to take any of that off because, you know, it just wouldn't match the rest of this thing. So it's pretty rough looking. Oh, my camera shifted here. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, while I'm waiting on paint to dry, I might as well not fight it. I'm going to go ahead and paint the handles on this one, and we'll see how it looks. But I've got another camera right there to get some live action. Alright, so you can see there it says Soligen West Germany, and I think this says Rogers on the bottom. I tried to embellish that a little bit with some paint. Of course, I'm getting paint on stuff because it's not completely dry. Anyway, I'm going to let this dry for a day or two and then come back and put another coat of paint on it. One thing I could have improved upon, and I should have thought ahead, I've done this before. I left the paint on the handles because it was on there very well, but I should have come through with the sander, because I've got some pot marks in there. And you can see that where some of the paint flew off and some of the paint stayed on, there's some differences in there. So I think what I'm going to need to do over the long run is I'll let this dry for a couple days, and I'll come back through and I'll sand it down a little bit more, try to even those out, and then paint it again. But anyway, these are working pliers, or scissors. I'm not too worried about the aesthetics on them. The most important thing is that they cut like butter now. They're just so nice. And I probably should have demonstrated them before. They cut fine before, but they feel really good now. And these cutting paper towels isn't the most toughest thing in the world, but anyway, these are pretty tough paper towels. But the sharpening seemed to work pretty well on these. I think it looks pretty good. I would have liked to have gone with the orange that was on here traditionally. However, this stuff is like mustard. It just didn't seem to spread on the testers. The testers paint went on so nice. So anyway, that's the little scissors project. Sort of fun, sort of interesting. I'm glad they cut as well as they do now, and I hope that was, you know, for a layman's perspective on how to sharpen scissors, I hope that was alright. And then here's those little parallel jaw pliers that I dipped. These are going to take 2 or 3 days to dry, but anyway, I think they're going to look pretty cool. And I've got, coming up later this week, or possibly by this weekend, I've got some rust prevention in a can, if you will, coming in. I was reading the Practical Machinist Forum, and I heard quite a few people say that it was really good stuff. But anyway, we're going to try it out in the shop this week, or later this weekend, and see how that stuff works. And once this paint is dry, it might be a good candidate for that solvent that I'm talking about. But anyway, that'll be later on this week. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching, can never say this, subscribing, and commenting. I learn a lot from your comments, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.